I will explain my thought process behind this. We're not actually using what we created in the backend because we would have to be always creating new stuff. So I have this website that I built some time ago, which is for tech talks and stuff. And this is all saved on GraphCMS. So I asked the people from GraphCMS to, GraphCMS is just a CMS that returns a GraphQL endpoint, to clone this so that I can use it in workshops. So this is the endpoint that there is. It has a lot of documentation and everything. So for example, if I query all videos, and I get the first 20 videos, this will return me what is in the awesome talks, pretty much all of it. It's just not updated from 3 weeks ago. The reason we're using this is because it has a lot of data, and it's way easier to get started with than to use the other thing. And also, it's online, and you can use this at home. It's completely fine, and you don't need any other thing running on your computer. Does that make sense? Yeah, OK, cool. So this has videos, speakers, and tags. Most of the thing I will be doing with the, also there's a good thing, which is that says speakers and videos. So I'll be doing a lot of the exercises with speakers, and then when you do it with videos. So if you go to the docs, there's a query to get all speakers. If I go to all speakers, there's also a lot of filters. You can filter by anything, really. Orders and skips and afters and everything. So this is the endpoint. And the first thing that I'm going to do is create a simple query. I've already set up React Apollo. But if you've never set up React Apollo, you need to install. Oh, yeah, sorry. Let me get this bigger. Yeah, don't complain. That's cool. OK. OK, go. There we go. And put this smaller. Is this readable? No, not really. No. I can't read it from here, so. There we go. Yeah. Readable? Ignore this. This is just comments, so it doesn't really matter. Is it readable? Should I more? OK. There's no light theme. That's the problem. Yeah. Predefined save in mode. What the fuck is? Better? Yeah, because, sorry, there's no light team, and I can't change the actual team. I think it's already a PR or something. There's been a lot of people complaining about that, mainly because people started using this for workshops. And people are like, where's the white? There's no white theme.
You can try to change in the tools.
I'm not changing the CSS. What did you say? Change what?
You can try to change it in the tools.
I'm not changing the CSS. Just email him. Yeah, can you please put this? Yo. OK, so actually using this, it means that you need to import three things, actually, which is GraphQL, React Apollo, and Apollo Boost. These are the three things that you need to install to actually get GraphQL up and running. There is also, I have this thing called tachyons, which I will go to the website if you've never used it. It's like a CSS. It just, instead of having a component called navbar that has all the stylings, it just has a shit ton of classes that you can post to make other things. So it's very good for these types of stuff. So if I come here, I'm using one of the lists. So lists, this is the one that I'm using. So it just has a bunch of classes like this, like flex, item center. I have no idea what this means. This means padding horizontal 0, border black, something like that. It just has a lot of classes. It's really great for these types of things, because I just come here and copy and paste it. It's great. It's good. And if you want to just give it some paddings, like PT20 or something. OK, so I'm using these two things. All of the CSS is already set up on your exercises, so you don't need to worry about CSS. It hurts me to create something that has 0 styling, as in I like CSS, so I don't really want to do that. So looks nice. Yay. That's it. There's no actual reason for it. OK, so then, if you just want to use data from the server, you have so the client is equal to new Apollo client. That is the default export from Apollo Boost. And you set it the URI to the link that is here, basically. And it's api.graphcms.com/simple. This simple is because there's also a relay version. So the relay uses a different type of endpoint than React Apollo. I've never used relay, so I have no idea why. And version 1 and awesome talks clone. This will never be updated to version 2. I don't know why they have it here. and you just wrap it around the Apollo. You just wrap your main component around the Apollo provider, and you got yourself some Apollo is set up. So my main thing is this, and I have an H1 that says speakers, which I will grab all the speakers from the Graph CMS, and I just did this component. What this component has for now is just a UL that just exports this LI. So this LI is what we want to replicate for every speaker that we get. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is define our query. Define what actually we want to get from this Graph CMS. One quick side note, I will do it all in one file. Please don't do this. This is just for easy of writing and you not changing the thing. Like you can do it here, but if you're running an actual thing with GraphQL, create a folder called queries or something and put it in there. Create a folder called GraphQL and put it in there, something like that. Please don't just write it in here in the same component. Okay, so we want to get all the speakers. And the good thing about, first of all, this is already done. Oh, no, it's not. So the great thing about GraphQL is that you, like I said, you have the documentation. So if I say query, all speakers, this is just a name so that so React Apollo has DevTools, which I will show why it's important to actually give a name to queries and mutations. And here I can just write all, and this will already give me what the things that I have. And I have here all speakers. Cool. So what do the speakers have? I can come here to the query, and I can search all speakers, returns a speaker. And this has a bio, city, continent, country, ID, name. This has a ton of stuff. I added way too many stuff here. OK, so what I want is I need the name, I need the photo, and I need the Twitter. So the photo is an asset. So it's at photo. It's not a photo. It's a photo. So photo. And out of it, I want to get the URL, because it's an asset, and the asset has a URL right here. This is a part of Graph CMS. And you also want to get the name, and you also want to get the Twitter. And if I try it here, it works. So I get the URL of the person. In this case, it's Ryan Florence. And if I come here, it's all hosted on Graph CMS. Cool. So this is the query that I want. I can just copy this and come here. And now I need to import the GQL thing. We also need to use that in the front end. So you don't need to use that. So there is the next version of Create React App will support files that end in .graphql. So you won't need the GQL thing, which is nice. For Create React App 1, it doesn't care. It doesn't know what that is. Just treats it as an asset. So that's why GQL is so popular in the front end, mostly because it doesn't recognize it. So that's why I use GQL here. In version 2 of Create React App, you won't need to do this. So that is really nice. So from, and this is Apollo Boost. Oh, crap. OK, doesn't matter. And I'm going to create a const called all speakers. I'm not sure. It's like I said yesterday. I think it's a good practice to always name your things in uppercase. I'm not sure. You can name it however you want, as long as you keep a same name for all of them. And you go GQL, and I'm just going to paste this in here. And there we go. It also has prettier by default, which is nice. OK, so this is just a query that we need to do. And now we need to actually call this query. So from React Apollo, we need to import the query components. Query from React Apollo. And the way that this query component works is that I think I can explain it with a different type, like a simple one. So I'm going to create a const called component. And this is going to get the children of what I pass to it. And this is going to return a function, as children as a function. And we'll just give it Kyiv. OK, so now let's see what this actually does. Please, no one copy this. This is dumb. So component. And so the children need to be a function. Because if I try this now and rerun it, it says children is not a function. Cool. OK, so I need to give it a function, which needs to be like this, and needs to return something. So this will just get the data, and this is what you passed it here. And if I just return that data, an expected token. Oh, OK, that's cool. If I just return that data, it still says children is not a function. Boy. Component data returns an li with the data. Oh, this is bad. Line. Done. Oh, no. Yeah, I'm not closing one bracket. There we go. It still says children is not a function. Oh, no, that's correct. Sorry about that. You need to deconstruct the children because it's the props. Sorry, this is a React thing. Yeah, there we go. So it returns whatever you pass it here. So this is the way that the React Apollo query thing works, is that it does everything behind the scenes and sends you the loading, the error, and the data that it receives from the query that you just did. So with that imported, let's actually create a query, create a component. So let me delete this component and give it a query component. And if I'm going to close it here, so I'm going to close it here. And this says like an argument of undefined passed to parser. OK. What this actually means in human terms is that you forgot to pass a query to your query component. And that is mandatory. Why does it say this? Don't know. But this is the error that you get when you forget to pass either a query to the query component or a mutation to the mutation component. So this is the only thing that is absolutely necessary to pass. So I'm going to pass all speakers. I'm going to save. And now it's going to say children is not a function. Cool. And in here, I'm going to get this and just return this. So all of this. Let me come to the end of the LI. And I need to close this and just save it. Save it. And now we'll return the exact same thing. OK, cool. So what do we want to do here? We want to get the data. We want to get the loading, the error, and the data. That is, it also gives us the cache, but we don't care about that. So this loading, basically, if I come here now, I need to return like this because it's different returns. Cool. So I can just come here, for example, and say if loading, just return loading. And if not, return the rest. So return this. It didn't work. No, it did work, but I need to put this in here. Return this. Did it give it? Yes. OK. As you can see, the loading already works. If I reload the page here, it's transpiling the mitrons. Loading, and then it showed this. Cool. So let's do the same thing for error. I would say always put the error. So like error, this is poorly written. Yeah. So error equals, always try and place the actual error so you know what's up. So error, and just put like 2 dots, and then just paste the error here so that it will actually give you a nice error. Because if you don't, so if I change this to this, and now reload the page, it will give me an error. And it will actually show me what the error is. And it has this cool thing of like, did you mean all speakers, you dumbass? Which is nice. OK, so if the 2 of these are not true, that means we got some data. So let's console.log the data. First of all, let me clear the console of all the errors that I had. That's cool. Oh, shit. Dude, do it. There we go. OK, save. And reload. And it didn't console.log the data. Why didn't you console.log the data, son? Problems, no problems, test. OK. Console.log data. Loading, error, data. Is it data? Yeah, it's data. OK, console.log data. No idea. Oh. Because he doesn't give a fuck about that. Did you learn that you can console.log inside a React component? It's the best. Doesn't care. OK. So if there is data, what the data returns is this all speakers that I have here. So out of that data, I can deconstruct the all speakers. No. This, yes. I can deconstruct this. You don't have to do this. This is up to you. You can also open this in a new window, which usually works nicer. Nicer is not a word. I'm sorry, this is because the screen is recording. Did I just reload the frame? Yeah, OK, there we go. So you can also do this here. OK, so if I come here, let me try and console.log all speakers again, because this should work. So console.log all speakers. This will automatically reload. Oh, there we go. I don't know why that wasn't working. So we get 363 What? How? Yep. We get 300 and something speakers, which is a lot. So one thing that we'll advise you to do when you're doing these things is that always pass a thing here called first, which just means that you'll get the first like 20 or something, so that your browser doesn't go all bonanzas on you, which is not cool. So now you only get 20 speakers. Cool. OK, so we have all the speakers. What do we need to do now? We need to map all over these speakers. And for each one of them, return this li, this really cool li. So I am going to all speakers that map. No. All speakers that map. And this will get a speaker. That will, Jesus Christ. I worked with very slow computers, but like, Jesus. OK, this and this. What is the problem? Missing one. OK. So for each speaker, we'll now map this. So if we already have 20 here, so this means that it worked. And since our data is quite explicit here, we can say that the photo is at that photo.url, and we can say that the name is at that name, and that the Twitter is at that Twitter. So if I come here and delete this and put speaker, that if you say that it's not working there, it's also because it's not working here. I just keep writing stuff. URL, and I save, you will now get all the pictures of the speakers that exist in that website. But they all have the same name, which is not exactly true. I don't think any of them actually have the same name. So if this is just speaker.name. Also, a little tip that I'm not sure you want to do it or not is that you can also deconstruct things in here, which works. I don't usually do it because it gets really ugly and confusing. But you can also do this. But I usually don't deconstruct in maps because I think there are limits to everything. But that's up to you. And then we're going to put the Twitter here. So speaker.twitter. And the href, so the Twitter that we actually receive is not the entire Twitter. It's just the part after the slash. So let's come here, and the href will be something like this. This is backwards. There we go. So https twitter.com/the speaker.twitter. Wait. Got it. And in here, let's just put an @. And if I open this in the new tab, and this will reload, there we go. If I click one of these, this will probably go to Ryan Florence's Twitter. Exactly. Cool. 30 minutes later. Is it gonna go? Maybe. Let's just assume that it goes, because I think this is the right Twitter. Oh my God. Yeah, Ryan Florence. OK, cool. No need to see his face. See, it looks the same. So yeah. Also, this is complaining because I don't have an alt tag. Always put alt tags in your things. So I'm just going to use the speaker name as an alt tag. So speaker.name. There we go. This is what I got. OK, cool. OK, cool. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions about this? Go.
In GraphQL query, you specified first 20. Is this magic, or it should be implemented in the resolver?
Yeah, this should be implemented in the resolver. This is not magic, no.
But now it's from web, right?
This is from the GraphCMS. So GraphCMS is built on Postgres, which allows for things like first 20 or something like that. But it needs to be implemented in the resolvers. And there is a thing here. So if you go to all speakers here, there is a first, which is an integer that you need to pass. You don't need to pass. The reason I'm passing this, and I advise you to pass, is because your exercise is with videos that will load shit from YouTube and will kill your computer. It will die. It doesn't matter what computer you have. It will die loading 200 videos of YouTube. Also, the internet will die, so please don't do that. But with speakers, I can totally do it. But it's like my computer's not very fast right now, so let's just go with that. Does any other questions about this? No? Good? Okay. So now there is an exercise here, which is query exercise, which please, for the love of God, use the 20 or 10 or 1. No, don't use 1. You need to map it. You need to be sure that it actually works. 2 is the minimum that you can use. Okay. So what do we have here? For now, we have nothing. But this link is in the README. So what you will need to do here is to come to the GraphCMS API Explorer and actually run a query that gets all of the videos. And what this query will return, oh, there we go. So repeat this div, and there's the Explorer here. And this div, so I've already imported this YouTube component, and this YouTube component just needs a video ID. That is in here, as in, like, let me get all the videos. So this has, so you need the name of the video, and you also need the link. And the link is the YouTube ID, just the ID. It's not the entire YouTube link. So this is what you need to pass to this YouTube component. This is the div that you need to, like, map all over. And you can get you can play with the queries and everything in here. All good with the exercise? Yeah, sure.
You said that you show us why you use query names.
Oh, yeah, I did. So let me come to the end of this one. React Apollo DevTools. Let me open this in a new tab. Seriously? It blocked the pop-up? OK, there we go. You can start the exercise while this loads. So go to GraphQL workshop, and in the query there is frontend. Open the endpoint so you can test the stuff, and there is like 1.1 is query exercise. There's a start. That's on the README. Oh, OK, there we go. So there is a DevTools for Apollo. There we go. In which you can search all the mutations and all the queries that you did. So if you go to queries, you see a query here called all speakers. If you don't put a name to it, they all will be named null. And that's not very good. So you get the variables and the query string. In this case, I have is published true. And you can run it and get all the things. There is also one for mutations. And you also have access to all the cache. So if you use Apollo on a daily basis, I would recommend you to use this. So the cache is basically the type name, which is a speaker, and then a colon with the ID of the speaker. One thing is that, so for example, you may not need the ID for anything, but try to always request the ID, because React Apollo uses that for the cache. So it's always a good thing to require the ID, because you will try and do it by something else, but it will be harder for React Apollo for like handling the cache. This is the biggest reason why you should name your queries. You also have GraphQL here, which is very nice. And you can load, just not go to the server and just load from cache. If I change this in some way, so if I get the bio or something, oh, it just gets it from the cache. And so let me do this. And there we go. So this is very nice. You also get the docs here. Because this gets it from the GraphCMS by the endpoint. It copies all the things and just puts it in here. So you can either use this, but you need to install and everything the Apollo DevTools, or you can use the GraphCMS API Explorer. Go.
Should we specify some endpoint of our server?
It's already specified in the exercise. So there is an index.js, and the endpoint is right here. So const client equals new Apollo client, and I already pre-filled all of this.
We have all settings in code.
Yeah. This settings is already pre-filled. The CSS already done as well.
It's generated from our server. All this documentation is auto-generated.
It's not it's auto-generated for us, but somebody at GraphCMS had to do it. But it's already here, so you can just get all the information from here.
It's auto-generated from schemas,
Yeah. So yeah. In the front end, there is endpoint where you can access this thing and just test all your queries and stuff. This is not being used in any way. This is just a clone of the one that's being used, so you can screw it up. That's fine. Doesn't matter.